Just two adjacent girls living in a lovely world. They took a podcast train going anywhere, but kind of specifically through Austin, Texas. Yeah, hook 'em horns.
Adjacent, very near, next to, or touching. Our tailgate is adjacent to the left field fence. ADJACENT, adjacent.
Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back to Adjacent Givers. Today we have one of our most amazing guests. I cannot believe what she's doing, Shelly.
Oh my gosh, she just blows my mind.
What's her name, Shelly? Tell us her name.
It's Melissa Dismukes Pore, and she is a high school teacher. She works with STEM programming. And Jody, what's STEM?
It stands for like science and technology and engineering and math. It's a focus on all of those math and science components. But we don't call her Melissa. We usually call her Missy. So if you hear us in this interview calling her Missy, that's because that's our nickname we have for her. And I think most people call her Missy.
Agreed. And but I think professionally she's known as Melissa, and she's still Missy Dismukes to us. As
She was
the
my big sister in drill team. I can't believe it.
I know.
Again, another person that has surpassed me, which I love. I love people that I'm adjacent to that are as amazing as this. You're going to feel her passion and her true integrity for what teaching is about. It's about helping students to explore the world around them and connect. I'm so excited to introduce you guys to this amazing person in our lives.
And in all of our podcasts, please check out the notes. We put all of the information, especially with these givers. We're sending you their contact information, their websites, all the organizations they're part of. And so definitely read the notes if you want more information. And so hers is definitely, she works with NASA. She's
She works with the Raging Cajuns.
yeah, she's doing some work with the space station. I mean,
Yeah.
she's
Y'all gonna be
incredible.
blown away.
Literally, it's a blast off.
Blast off.
That's what it
Without
is.
further ado,
Missy, Melissa.
Dismukes.
Hey, so we're just reconnecting with Missy here, and we were at radio this summer. Jody, I don't know if you remember this, but I walk in and I hear her voice, and I'm like, that's Missy Dismukes. Missy Dismukes is in the house, and I'm like looking around trying to find her, and
I'm so loud. For the record, I was talking to my brother. I mean, with passion, and Mo was in there, and Jody, you came out of she and Jody, you outside, and Shelly said, "We're having a bonding sister moment." Oh, say hi later. And I was having a bonding moment with my brother, but it was so fun, Shelly. You were hilarious. I was like, I recognized your stature, and you had a hat on. I'm like, who is that? And you're sorry, but you're else. I'm like, Shelly. Oh yeah, I recognized your silhouette, but I thought when you came over, you were so cute. Oh, I'm so glad you did though.
me too, and I'm so glad you're in Austin so much.
Yes, I love that. Shelly does not suffer from face blindness like myself and Brad Pitt. We suffer from face blindness. So
Face blindness, explain.
face blindness is when you don't recognize people all the time. You're probably one of those people with face blindness that goes, have I met you? Or you're reintroducing yourself to your in-laws.
Let's say David recognizes everyone, and so then I'm like, so then he takes that role on, so now I'm worse at it. And he's in Austin all the time because his work overlaps. much more than mine, but all our families there. Everyone, our daughter, she's visiting right now. She's actually sleeping in her old bed. Uh, she lives in Austin, and our son.
Hey, how many kids do you have? Don't you have 2? Yeah. And
And they're just at that place. I don't know where you all are at, where our youngest has been out for a year and a half. It was so weird.
it's so weird. Empty nesting is a lot. Nobody really
Yeah, it was really sad. I was anticipating it, and then it was harder and worse. And then it went on for a little bit longer than I expected, right? Like months into the fall, I was like, "Whoa," you know, where are they? But
I totally hear you. All 3 of my kids have moved out. They're visiting. Cameron and Harry are visiting from Dallas. Peyton lives in Austin, and we see her regularly, but so weird not having them at home. Shelly has Coulter still. He's basically, does his own thing
an
until
adult.
Yeah, and we our bunco group turned into ladies that lounge, and now it's called empty nesters. And so the whole group is empty nested, and it's so interesting. The process is so interesting, and nobody really talks about it.
That's what I thought. I thought, how did I walk into this whole bubble? And, sister's here, right? My husband, 4 years younger. And she's always like, hey, why didn't, hey, how, right? Why didn't you tell me about this part of life? And I'm like, no one told me, and I don't know how I have it figured out. So, what do you want to know?
Like menopause, everybody's like,
Everything.
yeah. It's like my hair is falling out. Yeah, menopause. Yeah.
That's been different lately. That's been kind of a new assignment. Mine. When I went for surgery, it was the first time I didn't write something else. And they they asked me, and I was like, I don't know, I guess so, And then all these things went off. I didn't have to mark anymore. And I was like, oh no.
Your poor shoulders. Tell us
They're
again.
getting all excited, and I keep doing weird stuff. And that
Moving your arms. I'm like, oh no.
you guys, I talk with my arms. And so at school where they know me well, they've been seeing me like strapped down for about 5 months with this big harness like arm thing. And they're like, how are you making it? You talk with your whole body and you don't have to walk slow. And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to make it.
Oh my gosh. How strong are you?
It is. This one coach was telling me, hey, someday you're going to be this amazing comeback story. And I'm like, well, so it's like, am I, but I am. I'm going to come back. My right arm. I've got now this is common. Speaking of other aging issues, frozen shoulder.
Oh.
Yeah, I've heard of it. So that's the complication I had after my reconstructions.
So you had the surgery, you said in October?
The complete reconstruction was October 28th. And then about 5 weeks after, I was getting way worse again. And I got something called frozen shoulder.
I never heard of that. So
I know, me neither, except for the awesome ladies older than me at work were telling me, we hope you don't get it. And then when I got it, I was like, no. But there's really cool new procedures, and they don't have to do the full surgery. They can do a catheter.
Oh gosh, you poor thing. Gosh.
Yeah, but we're quicker healing.
Well, so we have the empty nesting and the menopause going on in our age group, and everybody's having hip and shoulder replacement.
Yes.
And we're all blind, and we have no hair.
Yeah, and we have the hair. So that would be why I have this new crazy hairstyle.
You look great.
No, my awesome space sister friends in the teaching world, like I come out and I see them, and we have one talk about our hair, but I learned all this stuff about curly hair.
Yes. Yes. We have a brand with mine. I have waves. I have, what do you call it, Shelly? Where we have like patches of waves here and there. And
It's what's happening in the back is none of my business.
I am curlier than like back here.
I have a fro for show in the back. I have a fro for show. It's a rat's nest.
It's fun to see you.
Hey, Missy, tell us where you're teaching.
I'm teaching in Arlington, Virginia, at Bishop O'Connell High School. It is my 7th year at the high school. But I started my high school teaching career in Austin
Where?
at St. Michael's Academy.
Okay.
And my daughter was about 3 years old. And by the time she got to kindergarten, I jumped over to St. Gabriel's,
Oh,
running
nice.
the technology, teaching, programming, and doing fun stuff with kids.
Oh, I love it. What grades do you teach?
I primarily am doing 9th through, I do internships in college level leadership, but 10th graders are my bag right now. 28, 30 years of teaching, and I've been examining, this whole swath, this age level from, I call it now K to gray, kindergarten to gray haired. But, K to 12, I mean, you just scale it. And I love learning. And my new passion is showing people their own intelligence, and exploring and being curious is intelligent.
Yes.
Finding evidence of that in historical figures and key leaders is just incredible.
I love that. I love that. I think that's so important. I think it's so vital um, that you're learning. You're constantly learning. I feel like a lifelong learner. We interviewed Jody's sister-in-law, and she's taking a lifelong learning in her retirement years, and
Well,
I think it's so critical.
you have to consider our lifespan too, and innovation. And we have to have more than one career, almost have to. Like, positions change and twist. And further, to be creative and innovative, to do engineering alone. Let's talk about business entrepreneurs and stuff like that. But I only know this aerospace thing in engineering, and you just have to keep learning to understand the next thing. So that's been a really cool, refreshing thing about teaching, is to find a pathway for my students. I accidentally find some new passion for myself. And I am like this. I have a meeting later with my International Space Station group that operates the radio. And that's one passion that like I thought I had checked off, but it was like only the beginning. I received a license. I talked to the astronauts in space, and then suddenly I was like, I want to run that station, So now I get to work at Goddard at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center for 4 years now, just running radio, citizen operations, non-paid contract work for NASA, but clearance and access. It's so fun to connect educators to an astronaut in space. So that's one of the things that isn't that fun? Like on a bad day, I like think about, hey, remember when we talked to the astronauts in space?
Yeah.
Let's remember that one thing we asked them.
Hey, where did it start? I've been following it for years and blown away. And my husband's a huge outer space nerd. Like we've always said, if we had the opportunity to go to Mars, we would. That's his thing. But where did it start for you?
So I was just asking David this morning because my brain, usually I remember my teachers' names, okay? This one, algebra teacher, Johnston, slender, kind of gray, blondish, curly hair. So where did it start for me? Let's say there was a pivotal moment my sophomore year in high school. And I'm taking maybe 1 or 2 honors classes, French and English. But the world's told me I'm not good at math and science, but I love it, right? But I can't keep up. And we have the same problem right now in schools where students think they have to have an A. And so like they they think they take all APs. But where it started was when I was little, Girl Scouts, and just like exploring. But really my dad, he would like he would do rocket launching and gliders at Marcus and Hill. So I went to Doss Elementary. We go to the Hill, and I loved it. And we would do remote control radio flyers. And I just thought it was normal to be a tomboy, girl, whatever you want to call it. But back then I rocked it, like motorcycle t-shirt, did stuff with dad. We rode horses. Fine. But when I was 15, Kristen McAuliffe, like my ultimate hero, right? If a teacher can do it, I thought I could do it. Okay. I never knew an engineer growing up. I didn't understand this area that I'm in. I didn't, we had family business, 4 generations Austinite. My family wanted me to be happy and free and easy, fun, easy life. Do what you want, but what I realized was, I wanted to go to space and I wanted to be an astronaut and a pilot. So some of these boys that went in high school, maybe under. And I wore glasses, ladies, just like you. And they told me, you're never going to do it. I even went to tour at the Air Force. You can't, you wear glasses, and like checked it all out. I was like, wow, the numbers were bad, right? But now I have students in the Air Force, Naval Academy, Special Forces, flying Black Hawk helicopter. One of them just brought me a cast iron model, one of his awards, and a sketch. And he said he wouldn't be doing officer training for helicopters. Like, this was the Friday before Christmas. And he came into school 7th period. And I'm like, I welled up, started crying. And my students, one arm, Mrs. Pore, they're like, she hoped you, about halfway through the year, the attitudes change at school. And it becomes this like great thing and with your students. But it's been a hard time.
Amazing and inspiring, because what I'm hearing from you is you're elongating your teaching career by constantly, like you're saying, being ready for change, being ready for adapting and becoming innovative. I think so many times people get stuck and they do the same thing over and over again. But it sounds like because you're constantly evolving, you're able to keep that freshness to your career. So I think that's incredible. Well, and your passion is something that is
Feel it.
ever changing. We've already talked about this, but I read the Elon Musk book and immediately thought of you. And I was like, we have to get Missy on. She knows all of this stuff. She can talk about all the science stuff and the space travel. And so it's so exciting.
We're all just like one little edge away from each other. Like, we're just one space away from Elon. And I was telling, when you mentioned that, I wanted to mention one of my partners. I've been working the past few years with Professor Bob Twiggs on this really cool, innovative, small satellite project, missions, inventions. And he has been touched by Elon. It was really neat. His story is when he was a professor at Stanford, that Elon, I believe, was a graduate student and TA for someone else, was coming around, asking around for the
Bossing people around.
top students, though, looking for top students, but had lots of great interactions at Stanford. And he respects Elon and all that he's done. So part of the strategy for teaching innovation is how to teach, quick turnaround skills to the teachers that have to teach the students, But you mentioned something, Jody, that I want to say, and that is, like, I don't feel like this every day, every minute, right? Like, it's a struggle and fight, and sometimes I have to scrape myself up off the floor with others and students too, to understand or get through a pandemic or whatever. But the thing I find, and I feel it from you two, is just energy and passion for life, and just this like wanting to be adjacent. I have this always want to collaborate. And then I sometimes find that then I'm telling everyone leading it, but I'm trying to create, these buckets and pockets for this flipped classroom, creative learning. And so it's how we need to work in the industry. So it's been kind of like this little under my nose study, playground in my classroom, experiment every day. But I'm trying to reach other teachers because when I do, I just they empower me with new pathways. And I can't even believe where they've gone. Like, I can't even believe. And I want those pathways for others. And some of them are so easy. You could just kind of like pluck one and try it, And so for education and STEM, we have a big gap. We need more US citizens in aerospace. We're actually, in military as well. But students want these hands-on skills. We just need to make room for them. Teach them how to use tools and solder, measure, convert between metric and US. The declining skills in math, they're scary, but I stare at them every year and then I teach to them. And for over 20 years in the United States, since my master's degree, it keeps proving so. Many math skills between grades 4 through 8 are pick and choose kind of non-related. You have division, you have ratios and scales, you have map coordinates, you have, so some of the concepts that teachers are most uncomfortable with are what kids lack. And that is probability, ratios, scales, fraction, conversions. And so it's interesting for me to see that we still can't jump over it with technology. You can't sit there and ask your phone how to change that satellite, the whole thing into a CAD model of metric. You have to,
Yeah.
Well, I agree with you, and I see, and so I teach special ed K through 5. I
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
but I see the gaps for sure, and I think a big issue is there are a lot of leaders that are so pushed by the agenda by the districts to have high test scores that they don't allow teachers like yourself to come in with some innovative practices. And I think if they would trust the professionals,
Trust the professionals.
give them some autonomy, that you can still teach the curriculum, but you can do it in a really innovative way. We used to have that, and now all of that's been taken away, and all of our innovation has been taken away because, I should put my foil hat on real quick.
No.
But I feel like it's because they want to move the teaching to non-professional people teaching in the classroom that don't have the specialized degrees and things like that. Sorry, my dog is eating her dog food really loudly right now.
Yeah, another thing, with the hair loss and everything, we're also deaf. Yeah. See, Missy, I have hearing aids.
For people to speak up all the time, so I could be right around the corner. I'm having to change my glasses like every 3 or 4 months. Like, I can't see. My students know this. I'm just constantly like about to get those specialized nerd glasses. I can't wait. They have like all these lenses on them, and you can look at. I can't wait. You guys, a funny side story, really quick. Christmas just happened, right? And sometimes David wants me to hint really hard what I want. And so I said I wanted those science glasses with these lenses and that they're expensive. And he was like, "Are you sure you do?" So at school, I was bragging about this to one of our deans of students. And I said, however, there's these Ray-Ban meta glasses that look super cool too. And this dean is a nun and she loves space and she's in her late 80s. And she goes, Melissa, I think I'd get the meta glasses. And I'm like, really? So I got glasses, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
They look, what they are is on TV, I saw a commercial and that's all I needed. And then I said, I have to get it for school. Is that to teach innovation? And I like to teach VR and integration of practical technology. So they have speakers in the glasses. No one can hear. And it like things bother me that go in my ear. I hate those. I've never bought a pair of AirPods in my life. I have these big old things and I love them so much. Like these glasses, they're right here. You guys, you say, "Hey, Meta," and they answer anything you want in your ear. So Mrs. Pore is going to wear these at school. And when the kids ask me something about the black hole horizon area that I like to teach about, and I suddenly don't know the exact answer, I can, "Hey, Meta." So here they are.
Yes, they are. I was
Ooh, they just came on.
oh my gosh. Okay, so ask what's going on with the drones in
"Hey, Meta, what's going on with the drones over New Jersey?"
it's telling her something.
Most reported drone sightings are actually manned aircraft with only a small percentage meriting investigation, officials say. So I'll give you feedback after I try them out.
I was just looking up the price. They're almost $400, but that's not bad.
Bryce?
Yeah, I mean you could get some for $299. Hey, good job, David. Good job, David.
And my daughter said she picked the style and they turn blue light transition outside.
Yeah.
You can get your prescription in them. And I think that, would be awesome because the past 6 months, I've only had my contacts in. Well, my arm has made it worse, but like a week. So like right now, they're like,
That is incredible.
you can play. I listened to your podcast on these and no one knew, you guys. So, and by the way, I love what you're doing. First of all, love to find ways to engage my sister and suck her into something. And I'm like,
Guilty.
yeah, you two doing this about the topic I read, was adjacent to goodness and things like that. I just want to commend you on reaching out and jumping off and doing this. I think it's going to be huge. I can't wait to amplify it.
So I have a question for you since you're a listener. You might be our only listener, but
No, my sister.
you probably have heard us talk about your laminated list, which is your hall pass. So I'm going to bring it into the science realm, in the astronaut world, and if Elon Musk is on there, it's fine. Who would be, and I'm not saying like sexy time, but even just like tapping into their brains, for a while. Who would be on your laminated list of people you would like to vibe with? I'm going to call it the vibe.
My heart's just racing thinking of it because I have been so lucky to go track down, rope in, and have some conversations with some heads at the United States Naval Academy, heads of entire NASA administration, and key astronauts that did heroic things that just blew me away.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, her Facebook, her social media is like,
but it
top
it didn't happen before. So, like, if Krista McAuliffe was here,
oh,
I have to say that, like, there's a really cool exhibit at Kennedy Space Center. And whenever I'm there, a few times a year, I make sure I go, think of her because she transformed me. And when she died that day, my sister told me that, like, I grieved, like, that she never saw me grieve before, and like my whole family saw it was strange. And I wrote this long letter to NASA and I rewrote it till it was the perfect one. And my parents kept that first draft and all the stuff NASA mailed me, but I was like devastated. I actually thought it couldn't ever happen. Yeah, so let's get back to that moment of like, maybe I can't do what I thought, right? And living in Austin, you all, like, Houston might as well have been just like, Colorado or Europe or something. It was just far. You
Yes.
don't, we went there once to NASA to visit when I was like, I don't know, 13 or something. But the challenges we went through of what people told us we couldn't do, like make us what we are. And sometimes I did stuff knowing there was no way I was going to be at the top or persevere, but I wanted to be part of the people trying. And I'm like, and I didn't know why. Like that isn't, my friends weren't doing everything I was doing, right? Uh, and it wasn't going to get me anywhere with other people, but it was all like just inside. So it's kind of neat to look back and see something different in myself and see it build like a little ladder and then see a way to hand over some of that knowledge, some of those dots to connect.
Yeah.
Right. And like, but the whole thing is leadership and administration has to give you some freedom. And sometimes they, in 2022, I took a year out of the classroom full time, big sacrifice, but I had to.
Yeah.
I had to refuel myself and breathe again. And so I stayed on at my school, doing clubs and volunteer and contests and made, a few $100s or whatever. But it was like, I didn't know. I couldn't operate under the conditions. And I love my school. I've been open about this in my district, but about, I don't know, 30, 40 meetings with people while I wasn't there. Hey, do you have time for me? I discovered why this isn't going right. And I was part of this really cool White House group living up here in DC. That's what's special is that I'm just a car drive away from some resources that I did not have in Texas. And if I hear about them, I can share them with my Texas teaching friends. And the whole thing is you belong in STEM. We all belong in STEM. And this was this White House initiative that's going to change. All these things are going to change with the flip of administration. But for a couple years, I've been able to gather literally in the White House with a few hundred people from all over the nation talking about it. And the bottom line is our students, our kid, our saddest kid on that day needs to feel like they belong the minute they walk in.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I can't I think that is my world is, well, it is, of course it is, waking up and wanting to be there every day and wanting them to want to be there every day.
No.
And when I find other teachers and like ladies like you, like there's something about women sharing that we can't leave out the boys. And I have a son, so I've had this strong thought and I've heard others say it. In fact, one of my astronaut friends has a daughter and a son, and he told me, Melissa, I think he told me this summer. I got to tell you, I think the all girls stuff is patronizing. And I go, what? No, it's not, and I go, why? And I liked hearing what he said. I needed to hear it. And then I told him something that I thought was interesting, which is empowering not only our girls together with other girls and boys already gather with boys. There's a different feeling of comfort in a room speaking and stuff like that. Same as big group versus small group. Some people don't care. But the value of teaching competitiveness that isn't negative or like the B word.
Catty. Yeah.
You're like, the one that rhymes with witch, right? Like, no, they're a leader and they're trying to tell you what they think, right? So with intern programs that I do, and I do one, I'm working at the Center for Space Research again this summer for the third year. And that is to get other ladies high in the industry to talk to my students that made it into this intern program and share with them competitive like age. Oh, wow, man, that's been an eye opener the past 5 years, the age competitiveness.
Yes.
And not just, but the women, like, a little over you. And then in the industry I'm in, aerospace, working, sometimes volunteer for free, but sometimes paid contractor. you know,
Yeah.
you gotta speak up for what you've done and don't let people run away with your stuff, but teaching kids about patterns and integrity and vulnerability, and it's okay to fail and make mistakes, right? And then you come out in this different way.
Yeah, I agree. I think like what you're saying, especially when they get into that high school realm where they have so much pressure to get to the next step and they forget to just live in the moment. And then learning from your mistakes and learning from your failures is what actually guided our space program to the success that it was having, is that there were a lot of misses, there were a lot of mistakes, there were a lot of devastating mistakes, but they had to say, okay, we see where we went wrong here. Now we have to fix it. If they would have just, fallen into a fetal position and quit, then we couldn't have catapulted ourselves to the next level. And that's what I see kids do when they're so afraid to fail. Now, I get it, because when they make even a small mistake, like Shelly's still toilet papering people's houses at the ripe old age of 50 something. But nowadays, if a kid were to do that, they could have like a mild criminal offense for it. We were given such freedoms to
Freedom.
make those mistakes, but now for kids, I feel like they're not allowed to make mistakes, and they
Well,
don't.
and social media's capturing it. People take a picture, or they tell and don't realize it says
Yeah.
more than they meant to.
Right. Exactly. It's just, I feel so bad for this generation to some degree, even though I'm like, gosh, you have so much out there that we didn't have.
Yeah.
But everything is documented, everything becomes public. They're not allowed to just fail in private. And when they do fail, it to
It's
them
not celebrated. It's not.
not celebrated. It's
Yeah.
how could you do this? I know with my kids, I was particularly hard on them about their failures, but if I had to redo like raising my kids, I would have celebrated those failures and helped them to grow from there.
Yeah, as our kids are, as we're empty nesters and we discover these moments,
Yeah. It's so nuts.
how to train back. How, Jody, right? We need to keep having these conversations with our young adult children,
Yeah.
showing them, wow, that's where the vulnerability is. That's my new thing, is showing my kids adults mistakes, some failures, and being more transparent about that. And growing up, protecting and not telling was looked at as a good thing.
Yeah.
And to not have to put people through stuff, but obviously then you don't have, the beautiful woven blanket of experiences, right? Until later. And let's add on extra sensitive. You too sensitive? So to learn how to live with that and be a duck, let that water go right over
I
you.
use that terminology in my class all the time. A duck. Let her.
Oh, she has a duck. So listen,
She just got a new tattoo, guys.
I love it. I love it.
Butt cheek.
It's not on my butt cheek. You got to find it.
But that, Jody, keep telling that about the duck, because that's one of the first things when I was a new teacher, I heard when I was at like St. Gabriel, St. Michael's, I was in my 20s running a network with all these people that'd been there forever. And they're like, who is this girl? And even I was just a few years older than the students. But I remember that's when I learned how to still be me, but not a people pleaser. That was something early on I had to deal with. I want my loved ones to be pleased, but
Yeah. I have to go back to like we knew Missy in high school, Melissa in high school, and she was one of the hot girls.
Oh,
I had no idea you were a nerd.
girl, I wasn't even But my nerd wasn't quite realized, right? I think I was like secret, like I thought I knew I had intelligence that I couldn't show in honors English looking at a poem. Like English killed me, you guys. That's what I talk about. And now I have to write all the time, perfectly, all the time, So I tell my students, don't worry, if you're bad at something or weak at it, you magically might be like amazing at it someday by accident. Yeah.
Right. Right. Well, I'm looking at your sign, Missy, and it says you're a Sagittarius, and it says natural explorer.
Yeah, it was spot on.
Um, known for their wanderlust and love of freedom. They said that you're boundlessly optimistic and you're which is infectious, and I feel that. You have that YOLO
Right.
perspective of life. You're direct and blunt, and you're known for your fierce independence, fun loving, you're party friend, and then you're have a
Nice.
clown energy. You're an incredible storyteller, entertainer, and you're creative, and you're also known for your natural, passionate, fierce voice. I feel that are definitely that. You are
No, but I'll take it.
it just seems like and you're allowing your teaching to be that thing to catapult other people to realize their potential and maybe their wanderlust and their adventurous spirit. And I think that
love
that's the
it.
biggest gift that people can give. And Shelly didn't tell you, but I'm retiring this year. And now I'm like, maybe I should. No, just, I have to retire.
Yeah.
Well, Jody, that was the thing. I was ready to go into space industry and stay there. And
Yes.
so I still have on some big things I'm doing with the International Space Station user advisory group and many other things. I'm trying to peel stuff off though, because you can't be meaningful and purposeful if there's too much.
Too much.
So when I stopped, I also took a deep breath and was like, wanted to align my forces on only what I love and try to peel off extras and things that morphed into things like I was Air and Space Forces vice president of education for my local chapter. They recognized me for something, so I wanted to give back. But after 2 years, it became a different thing, right? It wasn't giving to me. And I'm like, so I peeled off tons of stuff and suddenly I needed my class back. And I was like, but I can't walk back in the same thing. It wasn't working. I was falling down on my face. My husband saw me. He's like, you're not happy. Look at yourself. But the thing is, I was fighting not only those hurdles we talked about in access and skills and supplies that you need in the right way, the right room, setting, right access. But they did give me unlimited freedom almost to learn on my own. And that made the difference. And I said, if I come back, I needed a couple things in my classroom to be workable, like any teacher, and I said, and especially please me. And what if I find a grant, So right now I'm leading a national program giving back to my school, but they still are just who they are. They weren't able to add the new tools and supplies, even though they wanted to.
Right.
So sometimes you just got to take what you can get. They outlive that phase, but it did buckle me. And I'm telling you, and it was a scar for that last year we were recovering still financially. I'm just a teacher. And my husband has a great job, thankfully, but still, I mean, this is my career. And like, how could it erode like that? So feel this weird new kind of puff. I don't know how long it will last. I tell everyone I can think about 3 years ahead, like always, right? So some of my favorite partners, NASA and the Naval Academy, like I'm like, that's who I'm going like in Waco. We did this really cool thing in Waco that Sally, when you were talking about Jeanette and that I knew some of that cool stuff she's doing. I saw on Facebook too, but it made me think, what could I do for the kids? Like little aerospace learning packages. Like, I have a friend that does these really cool in underserved areas. He's from Ohio, Stephen White. He does these NASA learning lunch boxes. And they're not, I always wanted them to have food in it, but they're like food for the brain. And they're really cool, but giving and spreading to the community is really the wish. So so I'm leading a national program that any school can participate in to launch a satellite from from our mission deployer. So I wrote together with 3 other people a grant, and we received it last fall, called the CubeSat Launch Initiative, a CSLI NASA grant, a multi-year launch agreement to launch satellites off the International Space Station.
Oh my
So we kicked it off. We're so excited. We kicked it off about the first week in December, and we're running it now. And we have about 20 satellites in our launcher. And that's a little follow-up from our space talk earlier about innovation. There are not enough satellite programs for students. The small satellite industry, commercial industry uses the small satellites meant for students. And so they've kind of been outpriced. So I've been in this little world for about 15 years of how can we do remote sensing in space easy and quick for college and high school students. And so I'm having the time of my life. And I'm wanting other teachers and students to get their fingerprints in space. And they're about the size of a piece of bread.
Wow.
Satellites, and they go inside a launcher, formerly called a Peapod launcher. But together with our interns and Professor Twiggs and the University of Louisiana, they're our other partner, we're developing a new launcher that we hope shakes up the industry. A whole new way aerospace providers can start launching controlled launch.
So if teachers or schools want to get on board, how do they contact you? Should they go by you, or is
They absolutely could. Myself and the lab manager at University of Louisiana at Lafayette, he and I are the main contacts. So yeah, my school email is the one I'm using. And also we have a website on the University of Louisiana page, and the mission is called Cape Twigs. And CAPE stands for Cajun Advanced Pico Satellite Experiment. And a pico satellite, let's get back to engineering and math. In metrics, we talk about a nano satellite. Well, there's way smaller than that. And there's pico satellite and femto satellite. And ours is actually a femto. It's the size depends on the weight. So these will be very small.
Wow.
The Cape Twigs website has a sign-up form, and you do have to you have to pass this one international little 1-hour training because it is traffic and arms regulatory concern when you launch off the space station, that we need to keep it in our U.S. citizen capacity of knowledge and not share blueprints and knowledge. So the mission is a U.S. mission because NASA's launching us. And I already have a few Texas schools interested. I have about 10 teachers on board with their communities. So I would love to hear from others. They do need a teacher mentor. So I have a lot of students reach out that I know through intern projects. And I tell them, go to your school and find a teacher that can be your interface. So they can help protect the regulatory concern. But
Oh my gosh. Now, could elementary schools do this, or is it more of an advanced?
30K to gray is the goal. And
Lady Gray.
Yeah, but here's the thing. To get this valuable opportunity, we want a high school level group to be part of the core. So,
You could do it with a vertical team.
that's what I'm saying. So we have a K-8 school, for example, doing it, and they're linking up with their local high school.
Right.
So I see it all different ways. I see it the full rainbow. I can imagine this mission in any community, and it can be like a small little dropper, like kind of decorations on a cake, where you're teaching the whole community about, and you do a high altitude balloon, a tethered balloon. You take it up, you bring it down, you plug it in, you read the data, You learn how to read it remotely so that when it's in space, you can read it remotely.
Wow. So we just have some friends that are elementary principals, but they have a vertical team, the McCallum vertical team. And so that could be something that maybe they could reach out to you and you can
I
kind
sure wish, I sure wish an Austin school would. I mean, I would. Austin's my bag, and my nephew is at Anderson. I was a Johnston Ram, but I did go to Anderson my senior year.
Yes.
And it would be neat if I could get something going, but it's also I can't do more than what's already in my pathway
of course.
and trying to align. So yeah, Jody,
You're getting the word out right now, and that's part of the key. And then we can say, hey, this might be really great for your schools to do a vertical alignment, and then maybe bringing back some of those math skills that are so lacking right now.
so lacking. So we want this accessible to students. So you know the duck thing we brought up earlier? I was dying to talk about it. I'm obsessed with the yellow ducks, several reasons. They are a neutral buoyancy object that I use in the classroom. And I teach about astronaut training in water. I teach about how the astronauts have to be weighted out because of Boyle's law. So I get this opportunity to teach Boyle's law, but the ducks are an interesting thing on a parabolic flight. So I haven't told you all yet, but I have been awarded a really cool opportunity in May to fly in a 0G environment. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, and I'm not going to be the pilot. I am a student pilot, but I'm going to be the flyer in the back. The pilots in the front put a duck on their dashboard. So when they go over the parabola and go straight down, almost the speed of sound, the duck, starts floating and they know that's what's happening in the back. So the deployer I spoke of, the launcher for these satellites, that is what I plan to launch in 0G, turn it on. As it starts, we have a special new launcher that's going to shake up the industry, remember?
Yes.
But we're going to demonstrate how a rotating central column changes movement in space. And then as you eject in a rotating pattern, these little pieces of bread, our first satellite was called Space Toast. Those call them Space Toast. They will deploy and alter that movement. So we want to know, is it going to kick it higher, slow it down? There's been past experiments that I've been part of with our Space Toast satellite, DJO Polaris, and our STM-SAT-1, which was the first ever satellite in the world built by an elementary school. And that was my first touch. And I thought I could retire, and live a happy life because I did that. But that's,
That was just the beginning. Yeah.
right. But, right. And feeling 400 students, excitement and trajectory, and now they're my high school students. And I didn't plan for that to happen, but they're coming back and sharing and wanting to do more. And so the gifts are I'm receiving the gifts from my students back. But I would love, Jody, let's weave school in Austin and it will get me there more.
Oh, yes.
And if you know any high schoolers in the area that are rising 10th and 11th grade, there's an incredible program at the University of Texas Center for Space Research, J.J. Pickle Center up north. And that's the one I referred to earlier. It's called the SEAS program, which stands for STEM Enhancement in Earth Science. But these are students that 100 are flown in, 100 are virtual, and they experience full research, prototyping. Some of them build like my group will, but they run a NASA, the only high school NASA intern program in the United States.
That's awesome.
Is run out of there. So this group that's flying me on this parabolic flight has just joined partnerships with them, and they're called Space for Teachers. So I want to call all teachers interested in showing what astronaut training's about and feeling vulnerable and confident to show yourself you can do something bigger than yourself, I be going 29 parabolas. So we will free fall approximately at least 25 times, maybe 29. The first 2 pools are usually lunar gravity. The next few are Mars. And then the last 25-ish are supposed to be exactly like the space station.
That's insane. I'm so impressed.
I'm blown away. I mean, we just have to have her on like once a month.
I know.
Alex me to space. You can apply.
I was just looking up your sites for the case twigs.
Yes.
And I just love that it's the Raging Cajuns for Louisiana. We have such a
Love the Raging Cajuns.
connection. So
It's an incredible team, and we really all are doing something that needs to be done anyway. It's hard. We don't know the path, and we're asking everyone that joins it with us to help explore what it is. So,
I love it.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, we want you on again, and please keep sharing everything. Send it to us, and we'll post it. But we also want to interview you and your sister together.
Yes, that would be fun.
Oh my gosh!
Yes.
How do
But it's
people?
easy.
How do people reach you?
Actually, they could just reach me through my school account. I mean, it's mpore@bishopoconnell.org.
Okay, I have that email address, so we can share that.
That would be great.
Okay.
Oh
That
my
is-
gosh, it's so great seeing you.
Jody, can we just make a shout out that Jody and I are bonded from high school because I was her big sister in drill team.
Drill team.
Should have put that out early. And I used to spend, Saturdays, Sundays, you go to Michael's and you paint pen names.
Yes.
And then still,
That was so sweet of you.
it was
Oh,
fun having you.
I love that.
And you were Sally's little sister, so I got really lucky that I picked you first.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay.
Over and out till next time, right?
Over and out. Texas. Yeah.
Yeah.